This is Em Olson for Watts 3000, and I'm going to talk to you about behavioral economics and how you can use it in UX UI design. But first, let's talk about what is behavioral economics. Behavioral economics is a method of analysis that applies psychological insights into human behavior to explain economic decision making. Behavioral economics studies the effects of psychological, social, cognitive, and emotional factors on the economic decisions of individuals and institutions and the consequences for market prices, returns, and resource allocation, although not always so narrowly, but also more generally of the impact of different kinds of behavior in different environments of varying experimental values. Behavioral economics is in a way at the intersection of economics and psychology. In fact, the behavioral in behavioral economics can be thought of as the analog of behavioral in behavioral psychology. It boils down to this. Humans don't always act rationally, but irrational behavior can be predicted to some extent, and the study of this is called behavioral economics. Or even more simply, how the mind works plus context equals choices. So how do you apply behavioral economics to UX UI design? Well, for instance, have you ever seen someone at a store staring at a selection, lost, unable to make a decision? Maybe it was you. Maybe you couldn't pick because there were 15 different kinds of canned tomatoes. It's called decision paralysis. Decision paralysis is the more that you have to process, the more occupied the brain becomes, and eventually it stops processing. Humans can only handle about 7 pieces of information at any one time. So next time you're designing an e-commerce site, limit the number of items your users can see at any given time to prevent decision paralysis. Are you designing a site for a nonprofit and you need to do some crowdfunding? You might want to check in about how these effects could help. The reciprocity effect, social proof, cognitive dissonance, endowment effect, global gradient effect, the entourage effect. All of these different aspects of behavioral economics can be used in order to increase the donations you receive. Or you could imply opt-in, opt-out, because people tend to rely on the default option. So you should always make it your desired outcome. Behavioral economics is a broad field with many theories that can be applied to UX and UI design. Want to know more? I recommend Thanks for watching. I hope you've gotten a little insight into how behavioral economics can be used in UX and UI design.